All right, so Keith Olbermann, yes, the great Keith Olbermann, who was once top of the walk on BSDNC on the NBC networks, did something in which he should not have done. And I will say this, if in the aftermath of what happened to Charlie Kirk, I would not have posted what he had posted, and I would not have said what he had said on X. So let's go ahead and bring this up here. And I want to be clear. I can have a disagreement with a person. I can have my differing opinions and point of views and perspectives. But this is Scott Jennings retweeting something from Dustin Gage, who wrote, "Wow, Keith Olbermann just threatened Scott Jennings. He quickly deleted the set of tweets after getting called out. Keith Olbermann says to Scott Jennings, 'You're next, MFer, but keep mugging to the camera.'" What does this have to relate to? Well, let's go ahead and bring it up here from this article. So, liberal political commentator Keith Olbermann deleted a social media post on Monday in which he appeared to threaten conservative CNN analyst Scott Jennings. "Your next MFer," read Olbermann's deleted X post, according to a screenshot shared by a town hall columnist, Dustin Gage. "But keep mugging to the camera," the former MSNBC and ESPN host added in another deleted tweet, according to Grabs. Jennings tweeted from Grabs while tagging FBI Director Kash Patel. Wow. Okay. So Olbermann appears to be responding from a tweet from Jennings, reaching to ABC, reinstating late night host Jimmy Kimmel after he was pulled off the air for offensive comments related to conservative activist Charlie Kirk's assassinations. Now we get the fascists off real TV. That means your career is next, Jennings. Send a tape to Real America's Voice, Olbermann posted in that thread, a possible clarification of what he meant. "But keep mugging to the camera, amateur," he added. So, just to pull this up here. So basically, his employer suspended him from being an insensitive prick, and we don't live in an authoritarian regime. Got it. So there you go. So what does this have to relate to? In regards to Jimmy Kimmel, when he got, removed off air, they thought it was going to be a permanent thing, but Disney now has announced Jimmy Kimmel's show will resume Tuesday after we're suspended following the comedian's comments about Charlie Kirk's assassination. So everyone, especially in the vote blue, no matter who sphere, kept on saying, "Oh no, we live in an authoritarian regime, censorship." Now, I remember reading the tweets. I remember reading the articles. Hell, we did a YouTube short in which, oh my goodness gracious, Cretaceous, who would expect it? Who would not acknowledge it? But, I saw firsthand. And I know firsthand what it's like when you deal with the online censorship and suppression that we've seen. And so what happened to Jimmy Kimmel, was rather shocking. All right. Like I said, I could disagree with a person. And do I think ABC's reaction was necessary? No. Was it karma for some of the things which Jimmy Kimmel and a few other people, especially during the Biden-Harris administration when they were cheering people to be censored? I thought it was perfect karma, but he's back on air. So no, we don't live in an authoritarian regime. So as it stands, I believe Sinclair Television, Sinclair Studios and Productions will be probably boycotting or not having Jimmy Kimmel back on their program. So continuing on though. Let's go ahead and continue this on here. Olbermann faced criticism last week for his reaction to ABC affiliate Sinclair's decision to air a remembrance for Kirk over Kimmel's show. An announcement made before the comedian was suspended. "Burn in hell," Sinclair, Olbermann wrote, alongside Charlie Kirk. Now, that's his words and not mine. Kimmel's show will return Tuesday. Hey, that's today, after he negotiates Bob Iger, Walt Disney's CEO, and Disney Entertainment co-chair Dana Walden. The host will address the Kirk controversy in his opening remarks, but not apologize. Very clear on that. Sinclair Broadcast Group, which owns dozens of ABC affiliates, demanded the comedian apologize to Kirk's family and pledge a donation to Turning Point USA. That looks like a shakedown. Look, I mean, Charlie Kirk, he laughed at the South Park episode that made fun of him, did a parody. Fine. But it's also important to point out here when it comes down to, free speech, pretty sure Charlie would not be on board with people being terminated or shows being ended or shows being pulled off air. So there you go. Soon after the show's return was announced, Sinclair said in a statement that it would be preempting Jimmy Kimmel Live across our ABC affiliate stations and replacing it with news programming. Discussions with ABC are ongoing, and we will evaluate the show's potential return. So Keith Olbermann, worst person in the world ever. No, probably not. But the word saying you're next MFer. Horrible choice of words, especially when the FBI and Kash Patel are tagged into that. Look, Olbermann had the audacity to go after Jimmy Dore way back, I believe, in 2021 or 2022, right? And since then, Olbermann's been screaming from the rooftop for some kind of relevancy. But that's not the good way to really go ahead and get attention for yourself. Everybody that is tuning in, I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, are we really living in this day and age now where, yes, you do have to be careful what you have to say, but looking at Keith Olbermann and his own controversial choice of words, I would have picked something a hell of a lot different than saying you're next, MFer.